What's up guys, it's Jamey. In today's video, I'm going to be unboxing and giving my first impressions of the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro in the black colorway. I'll also quickly compare them to my AirPods Pro just so you can see the difference between the two. I've never really used any earbuds other than different versions of AirPods, so I'm excited to try out something different. These caught my attention because I saw some good reviews. I thought that they looked kind of cool, and I have been using my AirPods Pro since they came out. They haven't really given me any problems, so I haven't needed to look for anything else, but I thought it'd be good to just kind of compare them to see, are the AirPods Pro as good as I think they are, or are there other solutions or other products that are out there that are potentially better? So here I have the packaging of the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro. This is in the black colorway. You can see Galaxy and glossy. On the back, they talk a little bit about some of the features, main features of the Buds Pro. Take a look at this little box first. A very tiny box. So here you have just your standard USB to USB-C charger. Nothing special about the material or anything like that. Just feels pretty standard. Let's see what's in this tiny box. So here are the different ear tip sizes that come in the little box. I think this is probably like your large, and then your small, and then the middle or medium size come with the earbuds. The material and the shape, look and feel, and everything is pretty much standard across the board from what I've seen on either AirPods as well as like the Powerbeats Pro. I don't really see any difference. I noticed on the inside of the top of the box, there's actually some instructions. So you have a diagram just looking at ear tip placement. So you just have a quick start guide, some instructions outlining some of the features, setup, functions. It's definitely different than Apple. Like you're typically not used to getting, a bunch of different instructions or something outlining a bunch of the different features as well. Like if you do get anything instruction wise, it's not like this flimsy paper. It's typically, I think presented much better than this. So here we have the case with the headphones. Matte design, which is different than the headphones themselves. Those look like they are glossy. So you can see Samsung by AKG on the top. You have your USB charging port. Open it up. Oh, they are very interesting looking. They look much more like, I don't know, futuristic, I feel like. Kind of reminds me of like the Minority Report kind of stuff. Like that type of look and feel from that movie. Here you can see the inside of placement of where the earbuds go. Like one thing that is different is just in how they are designed. Like when you take a look at this, the placement is much easier. The charging connecting areas are much more easily accessible. So that's one area where I've found issues with the AirPods, is just with them having that longer skinny area that the AirPod stems fit into. That's where you get some finickiness. So it's kind of nice having this much wide open area. Here's a very up close look of the Buds Pro. I mean, I know that their design is much more minimal, but they just seem so much more bulky, just holding them in this fashion. It's going to be interesting to see how they look and feel when they're in the ear. I mean, I guess they look kind of cool. I just don't know. I feel like it's going to look weird when you put them in your ear. To provide an overall size and design comparison, here you have my AirPods Pro versus the Galaxy Buds Pro. It's a different design element. That's just kind of why, they look different. Having the stem on the AirPods Pro give a little bit more flexibility. You can see that on the AirPods Pro, this is like their connection point for the charger, whereas on the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro, they have these connecting points here. So everything's encased within this design, whereas Apple gets a little bit more runway when they have, you know, this longer stem to put more of the inner materials in it, so it's not as bulky on the ear component. But it's definitely, it's not as much larger as I thought it was. I think it's just this component here that just looks so much larger than what you get on the AirPods Pro. It's also interesting when you just take a look at the ear tip on the AirPods Pro. It's so much larger, much more pronounced than that on the Buds Pro. I think that with the Buds Pro, you're just putting much more of the earbud into your actual ear itself, whereas on the AirPods Pro, maybe just putting this component in it. Let's take a look what it looks like when you pop this off. Came off pretty easy. Here's a quick comparison of the cases for the Buds Pro versus the AirPods Pro. You can see the AirPods Pro case is a little bit longer, but the Buds Pro case is a little bit thicker. One thing to note also is from a design quality standpoint, like you have the different hinges. So the hinge on the AirPods Pro is this nice metal where it's all plastic on the Buds Pro. The material also feels to me a little bit nicer on the AirPods Pro case. It's this glossy white material, but it feels like a higher quality plastic than what you're getting on the Buds Pro case. It's just very standard plastic case. Even the snap, I don't find the snap satisfying when you close it. With the AirPods Pro case, it's just a much more satisfying snap. It just, in hand, the way that it's designed, it feels much more, I would say, high quality and elegant. Even though the AirPods Pro case is wider, it being thinner lends to, it feels much more portable. I think you'd rather have something that's flatter and longer. If I was to throw this in my pocket, you know, it's going to be very noticeable and somewhat cumbersome, where this is just a much more sleek overall design. I also do like, I'm big in like minimal branding, so I do like the fact that there's really nothing on here that shows Apple branding is very minimal, whereas on here you have Samsung noted on the top of the case. So when you place the Buds Pro into the case, it's not as satisfying of a feeling. They just kind of lay in. There is some magnetism in there as well, but it's not as satisfying as a feeling. Kind of, because you're placing it up against the ear tip, it kind of just falls in place. So just for comparison's sake, I mean, it's just a much, I don't know, I like this just from a user experience standpoint. Granted, it can be somewhat confusing when you're trying to figure like which one goes in where. But once you get it down, just placing it in, it's just, I don't know, it feels, the user experience of this just feels like much more natural and intuitive. And I think it's much more satisfying than that of what I get with the Buds Pro. All right, so I'm gonna try putting in the Buds Pro in my ear for the first time. See how they feel. I don't even know. I don't know exactly how these look, but I can, from how they feel, I don't know how stable these things are going to be. Like if you're running or jumping around or doing anything physical. They just feel like they're gonna pop out at any moment. I mean, because it's how this thing fits around your ear. So I've never had problems with AirPods or anything like that, but with these, I don't know how these things stay in your ear with a lot of movement. It feels like it would, like they would maybe be painful in prolonged use, just because there's just so much plastic on hard parts around your ear, like cartilage in your ear. It just feels like it would promote just fatigue around your ear after using them for a long period of time. Like, I don't really get any fatigue in my AirPods Pro when I use them, but these, I'm not sure. It's going to be interesting to try it out. But right now they feel super weird. They might look weird. I can't really tell, but they definitely feel very weird. They feel like they're about to pop out at any moment, and I don't know if that's just a feeling, or if it's like, it just feels like if it just brushes up against something, it's gone. So that's just a quick unboxing and first impressions of the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro. As I mentioned before, I've never had any other earbuds other than AirPods, so it's going to be fun to just try out something different and see how they compare to the AirPods Pro, and really how the performance is on their own. I'm going to follow up in about a week or so with another video after I've spent enough time with them to give my full review on the Buds Pro in comparison to the AirPods Pro. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on that follow-up video. If you guys have any questions, or if there's anything that you want to make sure that I cover, please comment below. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys in the next video.